Hey everyone, welcome to the newest episode of Games I Speak. I'm Gio,
And I'm Josie.
and today we have a lot to cover, so let's jump right in. Um, First up, we have a new kind of DLC to Monster Hunter. So this is called Monster Hunter. It's about a monster called Alatrion, which I guess is a new what do they call them? Elder dragons.
Yes.
So I just wanted to briefly touch over, the main highlights that I got from here.
For a moment there, when you actually put it up the website, I thought the new monster was Crash Bandicoot.
I think he's too powerful, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. He would decimate
Yeah.
all.
So Altreon, he is the blazing black dragon. He's a new elder dragon. Now the main difference that I read between him and the other elder dragons is that he can actually change his elemental attributes
Ooh,
during the fight. So
that's
what happens is he switches his elemental attributes, and when he does that, he releases a powerful AoE attack called the Eschaton Judgment, which is very deadly to the players. So not only can he switch his elements, but when he does, he can kill you. So it's pretty crazy.
jeez.
There's 14 new weapon types and armor sets with something called Elatrion Divinity, which gives your basically what it does is it takes all the your elemental defense or resistances from your armor, and it turns it into elemental damage for your weapon.
Jeez.
Yeah, so these are very powerful new armor and weapons. And then the other two thing is there's going to be two new events. There's going to be a summer event and a variant monster event. So that's pretty much it for this DLC. I mean, are you still playing? When's the last time you played Monster Hunter?
That's what I was going to ask you. I was like, have you played it?
No, I'm not a. I played it back in the day on my 3DS, but I haven't played the new one. I don't have time, man.
New one. The new one is fantastic. I really enjoyed it. I spent a little over 100 hours on the base game
Okay.
before even Iceborne came out. And I loved it, but it is time consuming and it is kind of
Hmm.
grindy. And so I kind of stayed away from it and I haven't gone back because it just seems like kind of daunting to go back to it.
Yeah.
Because you have to level up and get all your gear prepared for all the kind of hunts that you're going to be going on. This looks amazing. It looks awesome. Is it going to bring me back? No.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's
uh,
it's it's probably for the dedicated players. You know what I mean?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Which I think is impressive, and I love that Capcom is still, really propping up the game and giving players new content.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
And to add a little something to this news, I didn't cover it last week, but apparently there's a rumor that Capcom is working on a new Monster Hunter game that is
Yes,
aimed towards teens, and it's going to be more like the PSP Monster Hunter games. So
I,
yeah.
I mean, looking forward, and this is kind of like across the board, uh, games in general, with how expensive they are to produce and to make,
Mhm.
they can't just keep aging up with their audience, their built-in audience. They have to be, unfortunately, a little bit more generalized so they can get a wider audience
Like what
and
happened
make
with Pokemon Sword and Shield.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. No.
Where
Yeah. You're right. I mean, eventually they're going to be making games catered towards 60-year-olds, and then no one's going to want that.
exactly,
All right.
geriatric golf story.
Okay. So let's see. Next up, we have some industry news. So Microsoft. This is a rumor. I just want to put that disclaimer out there. Microsoft is interested in acquiring Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment. So the key takeaways here are AT&T currently owns Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment, but apparently they have a lot of debt. So the rumor is they're trying to unload some of that debt by selling the Warner Brothers games division. And the rumor is Microsoft is interested in acquiring it to increase their exclusives for the upcoming Xbox. There's potential other buyers: Take-Two Interactive, EA, and Activision Blizzard. And like I said, this is not confirmed. It's just an anonymous source. But the major games in the franchise are, of course, the Batman series and Harry Potter. I believe this is this an image of game or
that's Shadows of Mordor.
Shadows of Mordor. Yeah, that's another big game that they have.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings.
So
the thing, in terms of the acquisition and those companies, out of all those companies, I would prefer Xbox to have them versus EA or Activision Blizzard. Take-Two Interactive is also another good company, I guess.
They mostly specialize in sports games, though.
Yeah, but I mean, they can branch out.
Yeah, definitely. But they're also the ones that are trying to raise the next-gen prices to $70.
Yes. Well, no. I thought that was EA.
No, it was actually Take-Two Interactive that was the initial company that said, "Hey, $70 for the new games."
Oh. Well, then I correct myself. Xbox is probably the best one out of the bunch.
Yeah, I would rather see Microsoft take those titles.
That being said, Xbox is. I'm interested to see what they're doing in the future and what comes down the pipeline. Like, I bought my Xbox One when it first came out, or practically around the first time when it came out, and I was pretty disappointed in the console. Like, I loved the Xbox 360.
Oh, it was amazing.
In the 7th gen console wars, Xbox 360 was my favorite versus the PS3. And the PS3, as powerful as it just wasn't the best overall.
The menu system, it just.
And I just watched this video from Digital Foundry talking about the Xbox 360 and like what happened. And like later on in its lifespan, they focused on the Kinect heavily and tried to bring in the casual game market.
Yeah.
So that kind of bled into the Xbox One, and so they started off on a bad foot with the Xbox One being Kinect focused as well as online focused, and that rubbed people the wrong way. And that's it speaks for itself that the PS4 is kind of winning the console wars right now. But looking ahead, Xbox needs these exclusives, and so I really hope that they do something with this and they have the exclusives and they build, because they've been building. They acquired most recently, what was it? Ninja Theory, the developers of Senua's Sacrifice.
Yep.
Now it's coming out with Senua's Saga, which looks impressive on the Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
And they acquired multiple developers, so we'll see what happens going forward.
Yeah, they can't.
I hope this rumor is true and that they actually do acquire them, actually.
Yeah. They can't keep relying on Minecraft and Halo. They need more games than Minecraft and Halo. Yes. I mean, those two games are massive. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like the old days where one major franchise was enough. I mean, there's too many games now. You gotta bring the games.
And now that the what is it? The auxiliary features that both consoles provide are so close to each other now that there's barely a difference in terms of like maybe they're online. Maybe people prefer Xbox Live, but it's not that huge of a difference from PlayStation 4. Like I don't see it. Yeah. And I have both.
Yeah, no.
And but their online sales and stuff like that. There's not a lot of differences there. It's the exclusives.
Yes.
And with exclusives like God of War, Death Stranding, Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima coming up. Like Xbox isn't competing.
No, not
they
at
need
all.
to get. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, and also like from the PlayStation 5 reveal, like Microsoft hasn't had any answer to that. I mean, the games that were shown for that, they have had no answer.
Yes.
And I've been waiting for their answer. All I've been seeing is a bunch of like random titles that they're throwing out, and now they're doing this summer gaming reveal, but it's mostly small indie titles. So yeah, they haven't really stepped up yet. So
We'll see soon enough. They should be doing something with the Xbox Series S, I believe it's called, the lower tier
mhm.
version of the console, and hopefully we'll get a price reveal soon.
Yes.
So we'll see.
Yeah. Okay. So next up, so there was a Nintendo Treehouse yesterday. And disclaimer: you and me did not watch the full thing, but it was basically it was focused on these two games: Paper Mario, the Origami King, and Yakugan
Bakugan, champions
Bakugan
of
Champions of
Vestroya.
Vestroya gameplay. Now, I actually watched some of the gameplay for Byakugan, but do you mind going over like Paper Mario? Because I'm pretty sure. Are you going to get that game?
So I loved Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door on the
Yeah.
GameCube. That was a lot of fun. And Paper Mario games in general are RPGs that were kind of that started on the Nintendo 64. That's where the first Paper Mario game came from, and they were kind of inspired by Super Mario RPG by SquareSoft, but they're done like with an in-house developer.
Mhm.
I think Intelligent Systems. I forget. Anyways, the Paper Mario games, lots of fun, RPG, very bright, vibrant, and has puzzles,
Yeah.
like paper-based puzzles and graphics, which adds to the charm. So this is more of the same, and I'm actually kind of excited for it. Though I have to say that they've stumbled lately on the 3DS offerings. I think Sticker Star was one of them, and on the Wii U, Color Splash.
Okay.
Super Paper Mario on the Wii was actually pretty good, but it wasn't as good as Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door.
Okay.
So Paper Mario and the Origami King, it looks fantastic. It's on the Switch, and it looks akin to what was on the Thousand Year Door, on the GameCube. But, and this is a big but, I haven't seen the entire thing, but from what I hear is that it's an RPG without experience.
That's odd.
So you're fighting in these battles, in these like forced battles, and there's no, from what I understand, reward,
Yeah.
either in the form of experience or any kind of in-game reward for it, aside from the actual the experience of battling itself. So I find that to be a little odd,
Yeah.
and that's one of the reasons why I've kind of stayed away from it. It looks phenomenal, and I like the quirkiness of like the origami theme. But what did you hear about it?
Well, I mean, I have been looking at it. To me, the gameplay looks like a 3D platformer. I mean,
Well,
yeah.
go ahead.
So,
Well, they did have 3D platforming in Super Paper Mario.
okay. Yeah. So,
But it's not specifically a platform.
okay. Yeah, so I would have to say that yeah, that's if it's going to be an RPG, I haven't really seen much of the RPG elements at all. But I mean, we didn't watch this video. Maybe they covered all that in depth, so
Well, see, I've seen some short videos from Game Explain, and the more I've been seeing of Paper Mario and the Origami King, initially it was like a day one purchase because I thought this is Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door just redone with Origami King, and this is gonna be fun. I can't wait. And then I've seen more of it, and I was like, you know what? No, this is actually more of what they've been doing with Color Splash and Sticker Star. So I don't know, but I could be wrong. I do need to watch the rest of the video. And then I was excited for the Way Forward.
yeah.
It's the developer game that was coming out, but then I noticed it was attached to the Bakugan license, and I'm actually not interested in Bakugan at all.
Yeah.
Like I love Way Forward, and I love what they do with most of their games, but this license I'm not interested.
Yeah.
So it's not for me.
So, yeah, okay, I'll briefly cover Bakugan just so people understand what it is. It's kind of like a Pokemon Digimon type game. And it's based off an anime, correct?
I believe
Yeah.
so. Anime or cartoon? I think it's like actual cartoon.
A cartoon.
I don't think it's made in Japan.
Okay. So basically, I watched some of the video to look at the gameplay. So it's an action RPG, and they have the main thing that they have that's different, I guess, in this battle system from different ones is it has a turn-based element, and a real-time element at the same time. So you have your Bakugan in the center, they're fighting between the two players. And then you run around in real time and throw your Bakugan like these like I think they were called them like cybernetic cores or something like that, but or cyber energy cores, but basically they're mana.
Pokeballs.
They're basically mana. So you're like throwing your Bakugan monster like mana, and he's fighting in the center, and I think you're controlling both. So, but the fight in the middle is turn based, whereas you feeding him is real time. I don't know. It looked kind of weird to me, man. It looked awkward. Because the middle looks so stationary, like they're just there, and then they attack and they attack, and then you're running around collecting these things. It just seemed kind of weird to me.
Yeah, I can't say that I was interested as soon as they did the unveil. And funny enough, there was one comment in the live chat that was that spoke to me, spoke volumes of the situation. It was, "Oh, you're being serious." And then I was like, "Oh yeah, okay, I'm gone."
Yeah, it's definitely
it's because Way Forward is known for like their action platformers,
yeah,
you know, kind of like Shantae
yeah, yeah. Shantae
and
is a big one.
Blood Rain and The Mummy Demastered. So this is a big step somewhere
Yeah,
to some direction,
yeah, yeah,
but not in the way that I expected Way Forward to go.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully,
So I wish them the
I
best.
wish them the best. Hopefully, they got paid well and they can use that towards one of their own games later on. So,
Yes.
okay. Next up, we have Rockstar AAA Open World VR game in development at LA Noir VR Studio. So now I know you have the PlayStation VR,
Yes.
and I have the Oculus Quest. So they're different, and
never the twain shall meet.
no, well, I not the way Sony's been doing things, but the Quest actually has a lot of spillover into the PC world now because they actually added in some features. So now you can play Steam games on the Quest, which is pretty cool. But let me continue here. So here, this is a rumor. So keep that in mind. This is a rumor, but it's not just a rumor. There's evidence. All right. So the evidence is, if you look here, Video Games Deluxe, which is the studio that handled LA Noir, the VR case files.
Okay, because I was going to say, I thought the Team Bondi was the one that developed LA Noir.
Yeah, I think that was the original one. I think there's a newer VR LA Noir that came out.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So this is actually a job posting. So this is actual credible evidence here, and basically it says, we have having finished a critically well received LA Noir the VR case files, we are now gearing up for a new project, a AAA open world title in VR for Rockstar. 2020 marks our 7th year of working exclusively for Rockstar in Sydney, and we are excited on taking on this groundbreaking project. So here they list a number of openings that they're looking for. So I wouldn't necessarily call this a rumor because that looks like pretty good evidence to me. So basically, this could be huge because Rockstar is known for their very, big open world games. Grand Theft Auto. You got Red Dead Redemption. And so the question is this? Are we going to have the next evolution of those games, or is this going to be something totally different? I don't know. But it would be pretty cool to see like a VR. Well, I don't know about Grand Theft Auto because that's a tricky thing, because it's like, how much do you want to be killing people and stealing cars like in a VR setting? You know what I mean? Because already the game is, they were already talking about shutting it down because of all the, because of the protesting and some of the rioting going on. And
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I actually heard that. They didn't. I don't know if they shut it down. I don't think they did, but they were thinking about it. They were thinking about it, which I'm one of those people that doesn't believe in censoring games. Um, I believe in putting warnings on them and for parents to monitor the games that their kids play. That's what I believe in. But as far as like VR, you get into a different territory with realism. You know what I mean? Now, would I want to see a VR GTA type game? The answer to that is yes. Or a Red Dead Redemption VR type game. But man, that is a massive undertaking. What do you think?
Well, I mean, open world VR isn't new. Their PS4 has Skyrim VR. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's available on PC too.
Yeah, it's on PC, but it doesn't have good reviews on PC at all.
Well, I'm not talking about the
Yeah.
reviews. I'm talking about the actual type of game.
Yes. Yeah.
So to be immersed in that kind of game in a VR setting, I don't know. I don't know if I could even do that.
It's intense, man. It's intense.
Yeah, and I like to play VR, but only in short stints. Like I don't like it for long periods of time, and those kinds of games demand to be played long periods of times. Like you don't just drop in and drop out. At the very least, and like when you're doing missions and stuff like that, maybe in online. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like when I play Skyrim or when I play any kind of large open world game, like I want to be there for a while.
Yes, and it's
the immersion aspect is awesome, but the reality
it's exhausting.
Is that yes,
it's exhausting.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think it's fantastic to have it as an option, but as long as it doesn't delete the base game playing without VR, then I'm okay with it. It's cool.
Yeah, and that's how I think it should be. I think
if you can interchange between the two, that'd be even cooler.
Yes.
Like, hey, I want to play in VR, or no, I don't want to play in VR right now.
Exactly. And I think that's the future is going to be these hybrid gaming systems where you can pop in and out of VR and just play on your TV, regularly if you want. I think that's going to be the future eventually because it is exhausting, man. And I have a boxing game, Trill of the Fight, and dude, I mean, a boxing match in that game, I'm like huffing and puffing afterwards. It's like I can only play it for like 30 minutes at a time. It's not something.
They should do a Hajime no Ippo.
Oh my god, you know what? This game is interesting though, because the way you fight is you could do Hajime no Ippo moves, because you're like right up on your opponent and you can put your gloves up and then you can like do a Dempsey roll and like hook and hit him in the head. It's
nice. There's a Creed boxing game for the PlayStation 4.
That's
I haven't checked.
More like Hajime no Ippo because that's a cinematic boxing game. The one I got is you just go in a ring and just box some guy. So
that sounds super lame. I'm kidding.
It's very hard. Okay, so next up, we have a pretty cool remastering of Kingdoms of Amalur: Re-Reckoning. So for people that don't know, Kingdoms of Amalur is like, it's an action RPG. Now, you and me have a disagreement here. I've heard many people compare it to Dragon's Dogma, and you don't agree with that. But I'll just say that it falls in that realm. So it's a medieval action RPG, and the difference with Kingdoms of Amalur is it's a little bit more cartoonish. Now, I have the original for PC, and I didn't beat it, but I did play it and I liked it. And it's not a I would say it's well known amongst people who enjoy these types of games, but I don't think it's like super well known among like most mainstream gamers. So it is kind of, I mean, I was excited to see that they're remaking this. I mean, what do you think?
I think it's okay.
Yeah.
I tried playing the original on the PlayStation 3 back in the day. I didn't get into it. But I did get into Dragon's Dogma, and I beat the crap out of that. And that's why I say it's nothing like Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's pretty cool.
But I've seen the trailers, and honestly, I may want to give this a second
Yeah.
chance.
Um,
So it does look cool, and yeah, who knows? The thing is that I hope this is THQ Nordic, right?
I believe so. Yes. Let me look at
If
it
you
real
go back
quick.
to the Steam page real
Yeah,
quick.
it is THQ Nordic.
Yeah. So like the story behind this is that this was actually developed by THQ back in the
Hmm.
day. I believe it was THQ back in the day, and what happens is that it was developed by some kind of like baseball star. I forget the name. Baseball star with the backing of, I believe, Rhode Island. It's one of the smaller states.
Wait,
Rhode Island, or I'm gonna say
it
Delaware.
was a state-funded game?
Yeah, it was a state-funded game, and they went bankrupt.
Oh my
not
God.
the state it's not the state itself, but the company making the game, because they pulled so much funding from the state, and it just didn't work out. Like they didn't make the sales to get back any of the
How
profits
do
to
you
pay
how,
back.
how do you do a state-funded game?
Well, it's kind of like Canada, and this is very general. I don't know the specifics, but the team behind Eternal Darkness, Silicon
Mm,
Knights, they had a number of uh, what was it? Not proposals, but what's it called?
hmm.
Benefits from whatever territory they were in, or from the country itself, in order to go ahead and actually like further their standing within the digital space, so that like they get tax write-offs, and they also get loans or whatever money to go towards the development of video games. And that's what happened with this team in Kingdoms of
Okay.
Amalur. It didn't sell enough to recoup the
It
costs.
didn't become popular until much later.
No, it did not. So, but I mean, maybe I need to just look back into the actual story is actually pretty funny. I know more about the story than, but I'm unable to voice it right
Okay.
now.
Okay. Okay, so next up, this is something that you and me were really looking forward to. Um, so Limited Run, they had their kind of, uh, I guess you could call it their direct on Twitch recently.
They're non E3 E3.
Yeah, and they basically went over all the games that they currently have up, all the games that are in development, and all the games that they're going to be working on in pretty much this year. And the, I don't know if they mentioned, yeah, they mentioned some stuff for next year as well. So we're going to go through this real quick. Uh, so A Boy and His Blob, Bloodstained, Curse of the Moon 2, which actually came out on Friday, I
This
believe.
week. Yeah.
Bug Fables, The Everlasting Sapling, Carry On, Castlevania Anniversary Collection. I know you're looking forward to this one.
Oh yeah.
Demon Turf, Garu Mark of the Wolves. I'm looking forward to that one. Grandia HD Collection. I'm definitely looking forward to that one. Briss, Katana Zero Kunai, Mega Dimension, Neptunia 7. Now, is this related to the Neptunia games on the PC Engine back in the day?
Ooh, I didn't even know that there were any.
Oh no,
I
never
don't
mind.
know.
Those are Net Newtopia, right?
Oh, Neotopia.
Neotopia, yeah. Never mind.
Yeah. No.
Mighty Gunvolt Burst. Now is these are the same people that did Mighty Number 9?
No, I don't think so. This is Inti Creates.
Okay.
I forget who developed Mighty Number 9.
Um,
Did Inti Creates do that?
I don't
I
know.
don't
I
know.
don't know. My Friend Pedro, Observer, Papers, Please, Pixel Junk Eden 2, Return of the Oberdeen, River City.
Mighty Number 9 was done by Inti Creates.
Okay.
Just so you
Okay.
know.
River City Girls, Samurai Jack Battle Through Time. I think this one looks pretty cool. Shantae, Game Boy Color.
It's
They're
just so you know, it says more River City Girls. River City Girls is already out, and I already have my copy from Limited Run. There's going to be more games from them, and that's way forward, I believe.
Okay. And River City Girls was like kind of like a newer version
River City
of
Ransom.
River City
Ransom.
Ransom, the Nintendo game. Okay,
Yep. Yep.
so
It's based off of that. It's called Kunio-kun. It's based off of that
okay.
universe.
So Shantae Risky Revenge. Now this one is interesting because it looks like they're releasing a physical copy for Game Boy Color, which is
So if you go on
mm,
eBay, that game is incredibly overpriced,
uh-huh.
expensive, just to get like a complete version of that. So they even said it in their direct. They were like, "Hey, you don't have to pay $400 to get this version."
Okay. Space Channel 5 VR, kind of funky newsflash. This was actually a Sega game back in the day, right? This was on the Dreamcast, I believe.
Space Channel
Yeah.
5, yes.
Star Wars Episode 1 Racer.
That one's cool because that one's coming to VR, and
It
it's going to be interesting.
that's a perfect game for VR. It really is.
Yes.
Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. I know there's a lot of hate for this game, but
It just came out this past
yeah,
Friday.
I actually ordered mine for a Switch. Super Meat Boy Forever. The Friends of Ringo Ishikawa. The Mummy Demastered. The Secret of Monkey Island 30th Anniversary Anthology. To the Moon. Towerfall Ascension. Rover Saves the Universe. This is actually done by the people who do Rick and Morty, I believe, right?
Yes.
Where the Water Tastes Like Wine. Extreme Sports. Don't know anything about this, but interesting. It's also another Game Boy Color. And Yeast Origin.
I ordered that already.
Yeah, I know you were.
That's currently available.
All right, so yeah. So for me, my picks are Castlevania Anniversary Collection. That's a no-brainer. Garu Mark of the Wolves. You and me used to play that back in the day.
Oh my god, love that game.
Amazing SNK game. It used to be on the Neo Geo back in the day. Grandia HD Collection. That's also a game that was on the Dreamcast. It's a very popular JRPG. Samurai Jack Battle Through Time. Obviously, Samurai Jack is the Cartoon Network cartoon, and the game looks like an action adventure title. Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, I already ordered that, and Super Meat Boy Forever. So those are my top picks.
Damn. I love Super Meat Boy. Just as a note on that one, Super Meat Boy Forever though is developed by a different team, so I would double check that just in case you're. I don't know what is the reason you want to get Super Meat Boy. If the reason is because of the original, and then I would revisit that just to make sure. But other than that, I am most excited for Castlevania Anniversary Collection, of course.
Yeah.
And I also would like the Grandia HD Collection, and as well as To the Moon, which is a really highly touted JRPG style game that's on Steam.
Okay.
This is the first time it'll have a physical copy, and it came out on digital like I think a year or so ago, or less than a year ago, on Switch.
Okay. For
the first time being like on a different console. I don't know if it's been on any other console.
Okay.
So I'm excited for To the Moon, and as well as the Way Forward game, the Mummy Demastered.
Yeah. You
specifically.
You actually mentioned that before the podcast started.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Now I did want to bring up something about Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. I said there was a lot of hate for it. That's because it was originally an N64 title, and the game back in the day, I didn't have an N64, and I played it at a friend's house, and I actually thought it was fun. But when people saw it, I guess they were upset that the graphics were exactly the same as an N64, which means they're like super blocky looking, and like it just doesn't. It's a game of its time period. You know what I mean?
Turok came out recently, for the Switch, and that still looks. I mean, yes, it's been smoothed over, but it's still an N64 game.
Yeah, I guess people forgot how rough Star Wars Racer was.
Yeah, I had an N64. I was an N64
Yeah,
kid, and out of the Star Wars games, I love Shadows of the Empire.
yeah,
And that game was really cool. I got to go back to that game. But I still have my 64 ready to be played. But yes, no, the games do not look good.
yeah. No, they don't.
Even on a CRT that was built for it, like it was made to be played on a CRT, like it looks
It
rough.
does. And the crazy thing about the N64 is it's actually the hardest. It's actually one of the most powerful systems of that time, and it's actually one of the hardest to emulate.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Okay, so next up, I wanted to cover the World of Warcraft Shadowlands. So I know, you're not a WoW player, um, but you know me. I've been a WoW player forever since 2004. So
Yeah.
this is what I do. I want to tell everyone what I do. So I played WoW so much that I couldn't play it anymore. And the reason I couldn't play it anymore was because it just all became the same, and I just got bored. I put thousands of hours into it, months of game time, and so what I do now is I wait for every expansion. I buy every expansion. I play every expansion. So that's what I do now. So I'm not a hardcore player anymore, but I do play every single expansion. So I just wanted to kind of go over this. So first off, I wanted to let everyone know there is a beta. If you go to the website here and click beta opt-in, you can actually apply to get in the beta. So I actually did that. So the beta is actually coming up soon. So basically, the game is that Sylvanas, this lady right here, she's one of the leaders of the Horde. She opens up a void into the afterlife known as the Shadowlands. And so after she does that, players can now travel between the land of the living and the land of the dead. And so that's kind of what encapsulates this expansion here. So basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to uncover a plot to destroy the universe. So that you're literally going into the afterlife to figure out this conspiracy to destroy the universe. So there's 5 new zones. Those are listed here. Bastion, Ardenweald, Maldaxtras, Revendreth, and the Maw. There's a new giant player city, Oribos. So this is going to be the central hub of the game. And so the main centerpiece of the game is the Covenant system. And the way that the Covenant system works is each Covenant pertains to a zone. So there's 4 zones, and in those 4 zones you play through the story of each Covenant. And so the player will play through all different Covenants, and then at the end you'll be able to choose the Covenant that you feel fits you the most. And so when you join a Covenant, you gain access to a sanctum, which is basically their kind of headquarters. You get unique Covenant abilities, and you unlock transmogs and amount. So that's the main system. Now, one of the interesting features of this expansion is they have something called soul binding, which allows you to meld with souls in the afterlife. And when you do that, you actually can gain abilities from them. So you get to work with some of the legends from Warcraft from back in the day who have already died. You get to go into the afterlife and work with them. So that I actually thought that's pretty cool. And they are adding a new dungeon called Torghast Tower of the Damned. And this is actually a new this is something different for them. This is a RNG dungeon. It changes every time, and you can play it solo or you can play it with a group. So it's basically like procedurally generated. So every time you start, it's something different.
Yes.
So I thought that's pretty cool. And then for new players, they'll need to hit because there's always a question every time WoW comes out with an expansion because the leveling is insane now. But new players, you just have to hit level 50, and then you can enter the Shadowlands, and you can play from 50 to 60. So, that's pretty much it. There's a developer video that they put out. So, if you want to get into like the nitty gritty, I suggest everyone go watch that. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to this. So
you've convinced me of getting this right now, day one. I'm kidding, but funny enough, I actually play Final Fantasy XIV the same way you do. In that, like, I wait for an expansion, and then I play the expansion, I get my fill, and then I move on, and then I stop playing for a while until the next expansion.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a perfectly reasonable way to play these games. Because I mean, after you put thousands and thousands of hours in, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, am I just gonna like keep playing this same game over and over again, or am I just gonna come back when there's new content? So,
yeah.
Okay. So next up, we have some big news from Ubisoft. So apparently they will be launching 5 AAA games between April 2020 and March 2021. And now you said they're having their E3 announcement tomorrow. Is that what you said? Okay.
Yes.
So
Sunday.
These are the games.
12th.
Watch Dogs Legion, Gods and Monsters, Rainbow Six Quarantine. I think it's safe to say that Assassin's Creed is one, considering there was just a leak, a recent leak of the newest Assassin's Creed's gameplay.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Yeah. And the 5th game is Far Cry 6. So those are all. I'm not familiar with Gods and Monsters. That's really the only one I'm not familiar with.
It's a new IP.
Oh, okay.
And it's kind of like from what I saw of the trailer, it's Zelda-esque in a Greek mythology type background with a Greek mythology type background.
Okay.
And it's very cartoonish.
Okay.
So it's not like Ubisoft's regular kind of games.
Okay. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to Far Cry 6. I love Far Cry. Dude, you have to admit, remember back in the day I told you to play Far Cry 3?
I loved Far Cry 3.
It was amazing, right?
I beat that to hell and back. I loved it. I still need to play Far Cry 4 and 5 though.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I started playing Far Cry 4 and I was like, this feels very the same.
Yeah, they just stuck with the same formula.
So I was just like I started it and I never finished it. So I need to finish it.
The 5th one, isn't that based in West Virginia?
Far Cry 5? Something like that. I don't know. And I know it's in the States.
Yeah.
I just don't recall where. But what's it called? Far Cry 6. I mean, we'll see. If it's more of the same, then no. But I'm not interested in any of the games that were on that list except for the one that isn't, which is Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Oh, yeah.
Well, where's that game?
I don't know. Don't know.
So and I mean, this marks the first time that Ubisoft is making like a public facing announcement, or like, I guess like a direct, if you will, after a number of failures. Especially like with the Ghost Recon, a most recent Ghost Recon game, and them having to kind of like take a break and rethink their strategy going forward with games. Because honestly, they, like Far Cry 4, they were getting a cookie cutter.
Yes.
And they were like doing kind of they've been resting on doing the same thing over and over.
Assassin's Creed, perfect example of that as well.
Yes.
And
even then before that, Assassin's Creed Origins and Assassin's Creed Odyssey are departures from the Assassin's Creed formula from before. They become more RPGs.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Okay, and so next up, we have some news about. Now we don't know. This is a rumor, so we need, I want to specify that. But it's all, like I said. It's also it's a rumor with evidence. So basically, what's going on is a Twitter user. Let's see. They actually link to the tweet on here. Renka schedule. It's actually in Japanese. Basically found a patent for a virtual emulation cloud system. And so the thinking here is that, so first of all, I want to say there was a lot of rumors that the PlayStation 5 was going to be fully backwards compatible. And you and me were super excited because we were like, oh my God, this could be the mother of all PlayStations. You know what I mean? Like,
definitely. We spoke about this. We talked about the fact that if it was fully backwards compatible, like physically speaking, prices for older media would skyrocket.
Oh yeah. And we were actually you were buying a lot of older PlayStation titles. I remember that.
I still am.
But here's the bad news. So if this is true, this is bad news for people like you and me. The reason being is this virtual emulation system has nothing to do with physical media. So what we do know for sure is that some PS4 games will be backward, or PS4 games will be compatible on the PS5. Some. They have not said all of them. All right. Now, to go back even further, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 1, now this patent is basically a system where instead of being a system similar to the PS3, where you had two versions. One version, you had an actual physical chip, a hardware chip. And this was released in the first version of PS3. And you could plug in you could put in your PS2 and PS1 discs into the PS3, and they would play on a physical chip. So it was hardware emulation, which is the best kind. Hardware emulation is number one because you don't have lag. All right. So that's what the PS3 did. Now it became too expensive, and they switched to a software version, which means you could still plug in your PS2 disc and your PS1 disc, but it would play off of a software emulation. Now, it wasn't as good, but it was still pretty good. And that's what I was expecting from this. I was basically expecting a disc reader that could read DVDs and CDs, and it would basically, you would put in like a PS1 disc or a PS2 disc or PS3. It would pull the game off, turn it into a ROM, and then play it in an emulator that's stored on the actual PlayStation 5. Now, this patent is completely different because what it is you just hook up to Sony's online service. They run the game in their emulator online in the cloud, and then they stream it to you. So now you're getting into the realm of software emulation, but software emulation over the internet, which means you're going to have double lag. You're going to have the lag that software emulation gives, and then you're going to have the lag of now playing that software emulator online. So this is nothing what we were expecting. So what are your thoughts?
Isn't that what they're doing with the PlayStation Now service on the PlayStation 4, where they're able to play PlayStation 3 games and PlayStation 2 games? Like you can rent them.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. All
cloud-based. I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
I'm not on the PlayStation Now service. It's not for me, obviously. So I'll stick to, playing on original hardware
Yeah.
for the time being. But in terms of like being a competition for Xbox, like a slam dunk competition for Xbox, backwards compatibility would have been so easy.
Yeah.
In terms of getting me to just be like, yes, I want the system day one. Right now, I still like when we talked about this when we talked about the PlayStation 5 reveal event. It's like they showcased a lot of indie titles,
Hmm.
and there wasn't a lot in terms of amazing graphical leaps that made me need the PlayStation 5 any any sooner than the actual game itself, which is Demon Souls. Demon Souls was a system seller for me,
Yes.
and that's because of the game.
Yeah.
But in terms of how that game looks, like I don't think it looks any better than the place like the best PlayStation 4 looking game. You know what I
No.
mean?
No, not at all.
So like it is unfortunate, but at the end of the day, the PlayStation 4 was kind of in the same case. It wasn't even backwards compatible with PlayStation 3, which was a huge, I think, letdown for me, especially in terms of like games that take forever to load. I'm looking at Metal Gear Solid 4 on the PlayStation 3. Like a lot of amazing things were done with PlayStation 3.
All right. Yeah. So, yeah, I fully agree with you. This takes away my urgency to get the PlayStation 5.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, I
Yeah.
agree.
And you're right. Had they found a way to just put the software emulators on the system itself, this would have been a slam dunk for them over Microsoft.
Agreed.
Um, Now, to people who are interested in this kind of you know emulation, you can get a PlayStation Classic. They're super cheap now, and they have full modding to actually turn it into a decent system now. So, and also I have something called a PSIO, which is a device that sticks into the serial port on the back of a PlayStation 1, but it has to be the PlayStation 1 model that has the serial port. Not all of them have it. And then you can load all your games on a SD card on there. So that's pretty cool. And then of course you can go get an OG PlayStation 3, which they're becoming super rare nowadays, and those play PS2 and PS1 games as well. So, but
Every model of PlayStation 3, no matter which one, also plays PlayStation 1
oh,
games.
okay, cool.
Not every model plays PlayStation 2
Okay.
games.
So I have I have 1, 2, 3 PlayStations over there, and I was like so excited to just get one. I was like, yes, I just one PlayStation, and I could put these other ones away. But now it's not looking like that's going to be reality at all. So that
Nope.
kind of
Not,
sucks.
not, not for the collector.
No. Okay, so next up, we're gonna finish it off with the upcoming releases. So let's get to that. All right, so we have some big games coming out next week. So I'll just go through all of them. Professor Layton and the Unwound Future HD. You got Death Stranding finally coming out for PC. Halo 3 for PC. Now, I want to be clear that this is for the Master Chief Collection, which you can actually get on Steam. They're releasing each Halo individually. So next week, Halo 3 comes out. Neon Abyss, Rocket Arena. I looked at this. This looks like a battle royale similar to Overwatch, but it's like third person and you just shoot rockets at each other. So, I mean, that's what I think it is. Don't quote me on that, but that's what it. If I'm thinking of the correct game, that's what it was. Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town, Beyond a Steel Sky, Super Hot, Mind Control Delete, and then the two big ones, Ghost of Tsushima and Paper Mario: The Origami King. So, um, yes, I mean, are you getting any of these? I know you're getting Ghost of Tsushima, but are you getting any other ones?
Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima. That's
Okay,
it. It's already paid for. I'm getting the collector's edition.
nice, nice. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I guess we can probably talk about Ghost of Tsushima in the next episode because that's
Well, are you getting it
yeah,
as
yeah,
well?
I'm gonna get it. But I haven't decided if I'm gonna order physical or just get the digital. So I'm still debating about that, but I gotta choose soon. So
Well, you don't have to wait for physical for digital. So you can make that decision anytime with
I
digital.
know,
Physical is another problem.
yeah. But yeah, that's it for this week. Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you all next week.
Take care.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching this episode of Games I Speak. If you liked the episode, please subscribe and leave a comment below, and we'll see you all next time.